Hello everyone. Welcome back to another highbrow analysis of the Traitors New Zealand Series 1. I am the co-host, Ben, and I am round my round table with my soundboard, and I am still 100% faithful. We're still going.
I've forgotten you've topped up your soundboard, haven't you? I just remembered there's a couple added.
Of course there is, always. I'm always accumulating.
I'm wondering if I need to lead you into something, but I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. We'll find out.
I'm sure you'll lead me in.
Hello, everyone. I'll lead you the wrong way. Hello, everyone. I'm Alex, and I'm also faithful, despite having a very heavy workload when I started doing this show and being very tired and not giving 100% commitment. But then I decided I quite enjoyed being a part of the show, and so I'm now giving it full commitment, and now you can banish me. Thank you very much.
Well, I do notice you don't do very well during the podcast recording, so
it
may be worth voting you out on that basis alone.
That's true. I'm not very observant, am I? And I don't say the right things at the right time. I mean, to be fair, also, I think they picked on, if we're going to talk about the game quickly now.
You leave my Robbie alone.
Well, they picked on Robbie, but they should have picked more on Julia. I thought Julia was going to get more picked on because she's a police officer.
Oh yeah, she did less than Robbie.
Well, she handed out instructions, but didn't do anything for herself. She just walked around mulling about. That's why their team lost, you see. Well, shall we say who is the main winner?
Really going ahead
here.
Okay,
we'll start.
Not even had breakfast yet.
We'll have breakfast. Well, before
no
that,
one's been murdered, so we haven't even had to pay our respects to anyone. That's why we're a bit out of it. But we have got a new traitor on our list.
We have, and it's not that much of a surprise. The only surprise is that I was a little bit adamant last episode. I said I'm not sure he would take it. I'm not sure he'll accept it, but he did. Yeah. He did accept it. The sausage fest continues in that house.
I wonder if him and Dan had this planned before they came in.
Do you reckon if they said if one of us becomes a traitor, then the other one has to?
They'd obviously talked about being on the show together because Dan was like, I know for a fact he wanted to be a traitor before we came here. So
he did.
Yeah, my point continues.
Does it?
About their friendship and the unfairness of their friendship. Now they're the only two traitors. So.
Well, I'm going to reiterate. Can people get in touch with us and let us know?
You've got a whole week now from this.
Yep. Do you agree with Ben's point that it's a bit unfair that people know each other outside of the show on any of the iterations of the traitors? Because there's a case of that in the American version too. And I believe there might be a case of that in the second series of the Australian version. faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com, or find us on Twitter, X.
No.
At Traitors Podcast, or Instagram at Faithful to the Traitors,
or on Buy Us a Coffee. You can also send messages on there.
Can you send a message if you buy us a coffee?
Yeah,
right. Yeah, buyusacoffee.com/faithful. If you've got some spare change in your pocket and you want to support us, please do. But
got one hand in my pocket. That's what it sounded like that.
Oh, here we go. And we got a copyright strike now. So you need to help us out. But we'll go through all the details of that at the end of this episode as well, and other ways you can support us as well. But shall we then go? So we now know that Brooke is a traitor.
He's joined the three.
Soon to be two. Breakfast table.
The duo.
I did say though that Matt was in trouble. Although not in this way, I didn't believe
not this quickly.
Not this quickly. Genuinely, I did believe that Matt was in trouble, but I thought it was going to be done in a different way because obviously the two friends are now traitors together. Having
I've got a new favourite this week as well, Brody.
Yeah, what about him?
Her.
Sorry, I was grabbing my coffee. I wasn't thinking right.
Well, what do you think about her? She's now my top favourite. My top favourite faithful.
She still reminds me of Daisy May Cooper.
That's even better then.
Like everything about her. The way she talks, the way she looks at the camera, the way she sits with her legs sprayed open.
I love Daisy May Cooper.
I love Daisy May Cooper too. She is a fantastic
I love Robbie
comedian.
as well. Leave Robbie alone. She's just a housewife with kids who's a hairdresser.
She's a single mum.
Her words,
who's got
not
2
my
jobs. They should have that played every time she enters a room. A single mum who's got 2 jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, if they did, they'd be like, so one job's being a traitor, is it? Vote her out. That's what they'll catch on to, wouldn't they?
True. I mean, I do feel like they're picking on Robbie somewhat, but they do. The funny thing is that the breakfast...
All the women are getting picked on,
women are getting picked on. Robbie was the one who spotted that as well last episode. She said there's only been one male eliminated. And she's quite right. And we said this on episode 1. that this was quite a misogynistic
Yeah.
pattern happening very early on. I don't think it's intentional. I'm not accusing them.
Vanda has been attacked. Robbie has been attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Julie has been attacked. Justin was attacked episode 1, and Anna and Brody have yet to be attacked. But it's not a good track record. Kings is just sitting there sipping coffee and champagne. No one's batting an eyelid at him.
He's having a great time. But Kings and Philly seem to have a very close bond. They seem to vote very similarly with one another. I know they voted differently.
They're
on
always
this
hanging
episode.
around with each other by the fireplace.
But they do vote. They tend to vote the same. This episode they didn't, but that's because Philly had his knives out for poor old Robbie.
Lovely Philly, fit Philly.
But when Kings voted, and he voted for Julia, he did say, he kind of inclined to say like, Philly and I both think that it's Julia as well, but he's obviously gone for Robbie on this occasion.
I'm really confused by the sudden thing of Julie as a traitor, because she's not really been shown. We've not been shown anything to make us think that they think she's a traitor.
No, but it has been creeping up.
Yeah, but
like
why?
Last episode, there was about 2 or 3 votes for her. The episode before that, her name got thrown out there.
Yeah, we've not seen any of it. Why have we? It's odd. There's
something
what has
she's done. Yeah, something she's done, and we've not been privy to.
Her detective skills aren't very good, apparently.
Well, that
she
could
just
be
stands in a room and tells people where to go and doesn't actually look for evidence.
Reason. She is a detective, a police superintendent.
Well, she needs to get back to the beginning of that job where she's actually getting her hands in. But then, she still thinks she's a detective, you see.
That's true. When they were doing the crime scene, ghostly vertigo, the poltergeist, the problematic poltergeist.
I know, in Kristen's bedroom / apartment. So we had a whole view of their apartment, so they stay in now.
Well, Kristen.
Nice little bathroom and kitchenette.
I was a bit worried, to be fair, that she was of right mind when she was on the show. She had champagne, beer, lines of cocaine. I'm joking. Christian
supplied by Paul from his drug den bachelor pad.
Bottle of gin as well.
I'm surprised he didn't have Paul's
incriminating
gin.
photographs.
Paul's gin right there.
Paul's gin. Paul stopped drinking. Have you noticed? He's not walking into rooms with bottles.
And he doesn't use his walking stick as much even now he's sober.
Still got his Panama coat, a coat, hat, and he's stealing food from the breakfast table.
Yeah.
Right,
a bit flowery.
It
was a slice of apple, wasn't it? Why was it flowery?
Well, I was a bit taken.
Gay.
Yes, this is a bit gay. This fruit's a bit gay. Pink lady, not for me. Thank you very much. Woo. Sorry, Paul. Sorry. Should we discuss some of the theories that got thrown out at the breakfast table? Because there were a few.
There was some chair counting.
They realised that there was no murder.
Followed by picture counting, followed by chair counting again.
Picture counting wouldn't have meant anything because they only crossed.
They were adding up, weren't they? Fingers were going all up.
Fingers and thumbs. Well, they worked out that there was no murder because there's still the same number of chairs as there was the night before or the day before. So that's when people started pointing fingers at all kinds of different people.
Watch out, because even Dan was getting a bit upset. Mr. Traitor, he was going around to people saying, keep an eye on how everyone reacts in case a traitor walks in.
Yeah, he was doing that with Colin
trying to
and
cover
Anna.
himself.
I mean, it makes sense because later on in the episode, Brooke says to him that you need to be more accusational toward people. You're kind of not giving an opinion. You're just kind of like following everyone else.
That was right at the end. He said that, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so I guess that was the beginning of Dan.
Just bros looking out for each other.
Bros before hoes.
Clearly.
But Colin seems to be a little target at the fact that there was no murder. So I feel like that everyone kind of thought that the first person they thought of which could have been recruitment was Colin.
That's what I thought, because Colin came in and said, today I'm on a clean slate. Everything's reset. Yeah. And it's like, oh.
I'm a traitor.
And then like 10 minutes later, there's a new traitor.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
What was it?
Colin.
Anna shouted out across the table and said, after everyone had arrived, she said, like, so obviously someone's been recruited. Does anyone want to?
Yeah, who is it?
Yeah, you've not necessarily said yes to being recruited. You don't have to become a traitor. Who was it?
Was anyone approached? She said, wasn't it? That was it. Yeah, were you approached?
And then Brooke said yes, thought better of it, and then quickly said, I agree with you, Anna. You're right. Someone must have been approached. I do think that was a slip-up, a very early on slip-up by Brooke.
I took that as he was saying it, making it into a joke, and everyone started laughing, going, oh, silly you. And then Anna kept trying to carry on. No, she was like, oh, no, I'm being serious. And then they were laughing, and then she kind of got pitted out. and it's like that sort of killed her
The
line of
momentum.
questioning really quickly.
No, I guess the idea.
I'm enjoying
kind of
her
went.
range of wigs, by the way.
Are you?
I spotted 3 wigs this episode.
Oh,
Nice long bob, a lob, some might say.
is that what they're called? A lob?
A lob. An ombre.
Uh-huh.
That's blonder on the ends.
I don't know any of this. You carry on.
Full fringe.
Yeah?
Still going.
But they don't call them fringes. They're called bangs.
Bangs. Full bangs.
Bangs.
So, you
Would you get a bang? Would you cut your hair into a bang?
want my whole hair into a bang?
Yeah.
A fringe?
Would you want a bang on your?
I have a fringe if I put it forward.
Yeah. So yeah, but it might go over your eyes. Would you
Or
want
have
to
it cut?
into a bang?
Yes.
Yeah.
A bang is a fringe. That's all
I
it
know
is.
it is, but I just think it's a funny word to call
Yeah,
a
it's
fringe.
silly.
Fringe sounds better than a bang. I'd rather have a fringe than a bang on my head. Wouldn't you?
Anyway, I've been enjoying Anna's
Have you?
looks.
Good. Yeah. No,
This
Anna is
episode.
really, really cool. I like Anna a lot. And I like that Colin trusts her the most, but Anna was a
So
bit
he
like,
says.
well, Anna was a bit like, yeah, you too. And then carried on
And
talking
then her
to someone
VT
else.
was literally, I don't know if I trust him or read him.
No, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that was
Vanda.
Vanda, yeah, that was
Vanda
Vanda,
doesn't.
yeah, wasn't it?
Vanda doesn't know what to make of him. I mean, love.
No, none of us
None
do.
of us do. Poor Colin, because I do feel for him because like he
Even I don't trust him though, watching him, and I know he's faithful.
can't help it. He's got one of those kind of like resting bitch face type scenarios, isn't it? He seems his eyes look generous, but his mouth says evil. Like, I don't know. It's difficult to kind
it's
of.
hard to, like Vanda says, it's hard to read him.
He's a hard person to read, and the fact that he does use comedy as a kind of a substitute to like take serious situations. I don't know. But yeah, so Brooke almost slipped up straight away, but lucky for him, Anna's theories kind of got, as you said, pissed her out.
Pushed away.
And then Paul came running in, had a flowery piece of apple, and said, "Right, there's ghosts in this old hotel, and I want you all
Go
to
to Christine's drug den and find out what happened and spot the difference."
Did they do an inside challenge, do you think? Do you think this challenge was prematurely brought forward because of the really bad weather? Because they
there
did
was
mention...
lots of raining clips, wasn't there?
Well, I didn't realise... Well, and also Sam mentioned that Mike, who they banished the night before, had brought the weather
He's a weatherman
with him, because he's
apparently.
a weatherman.
I thought he was a news reporter. Maybe he's both.
Now, they've said it, I see weatherman. Do you know what I mean? He's got that weatherman look. Like, I could see him in front of, like, a big map of New Zealand and swiping his arms across the screen as he indicates where the clouds are and the high and low pressures are going around the 2 islands. No?
Yeah, I'm just sorry. I was just reading Mike's
Fact file.
to
Does
see
this
what
mean
he
we're
was-
going to have...
Mike Peru.
Oh,
Is it Mike? It is
yeah,
Mike, isn't it?
Mike.
Yes.
Mike the weatherman.
Sorry, this thing's just written, so I don't know if it's correct or not. He has the gift of the gab and can sell absolutely anything from a pair of slap-on sunglasses to a pile of...
Shit.
I don't know what that says. Op shop. Op shop junk? What's op shop? Any idea what an op shop is?
It might be slang, New Zealand slang. Do you want me to have a look while you carry on?
If you want.
How's op shop
Two-
spelled? O-P...
OP shop.
OP shop.
Opioid shop.
Opium, yeah.
To a weather forecast while on the cusp of crapping himself.
Crapping himself?
And that's what remember everyone, this isn't something that I've written. I'm reading an article from the wonderful thespinoff.co.nz.
Oh, it is Australian slang, just so you know.
Oh, what does it mean?
A shop usually operated by a charity to which new or used goods are donated for sale at a low
sell
price.
anything, I see.
So an op shop is a charity shop. Slang in New Zealand and Australia. And perhaps other places, but we're focusing on them right now.
So there you go. So it just says he's never weather forecast. So as usual, my fact file gives me no
Actual
new
information about him. We learned more from
Surprise,
watching the show than we
surprise.
did from the fact file. That's fine. That's fine. I liked Mike. It was a shame,
he
but
was
that was
harmless.
last week, so I don't know why we
was.
talked last episode.
because of the weather, raining.
Oh, that's
bringing
right.
the task forward.
And so they're inside and they're going into Kristen's drug-addled room from her...
with her many drinks,
for
a
many
cocktail of
alcohols.
champagne and beer and wine and
We did suspect that a lot of them were like heavy drinkers after episode 1 when they were on all fours looking for coins.
Oh, Justine fell over at the end of this episode, back onto the sofa with her glass of wine.
After drinking,
and she kind of said, "Oh, sorry," and then she put her wine glass and she put her glass down and didn't finish it. So
I know she saved the glass of wine as she fell backwards. Like that was the most important part. Everything else can break, but that
fell
glass
backwards
of wine.
into her mouth. So yeah, Christine's apartment. Peanuts or baked beans in the bed, we're not sure. I thought they were baked ketchup, beans. Though. I thought they were baked beans. But
what, washed baked beans from their tomatoey sauce?
But you thought they were...
I think they were peanuts. You're more often to find a pack of peanuts in a hotel fridge than you are a tin of Heinz.
There's a lot of flower petals all over the place as well. I don't know.
She was having a party.
I don't know what was going on.
She was inviting people.
She was trying to seduce Paul in after filming, I think. With
blame
cane.
her. He's a hot guy. He's got a lot of money. He's got gin money, man.
Yes.
I want him.
The gin's enough to convince her with her death on her bed.
That's what he does, just supply with the women with gin.
She had a clean bathroom though. That's what Philly had to look through, wasn't it? And he noticed her toothbrush had changed. So
yeah. That's
very
odd, actually. That's a good point. Why didn't they smear like the toilet
with what?
with like crap? Like smear the toilet with like some suspect stains.
That's disgusting.
Well, the rest of the...
I thought it would be an actual murder scene, like there would be blood on the bed where she'd been murdered.
I mean, it looked like there had been a struggle, didn't there?
Quite a struggle.
You know, she had
her
too
baked
much...
beans went everywhere.
If I was Julia right then and there, I would have walked into that murder scene. There was tape over the door, so they were.
She was acting really serious, Julia. She came in with her hands up. She was like indicating left, right, that corner with her arms like whoosh.
I think she was genuinely trying to solve the murder.
And she was walking around the room with her arms crossed, like observing everyone.
Yeah. Now,
like, and then she was like, she was trying not to touch things for evidence or fingerprints. It's like, all right.
Which
Detective
which
Julia
person would have murdered Kristen in this scenario? Maybe she should have dusted for fingerprints. She could have done. She had a whole bevy of ideas that she could have solved the mystery with, but she didn't. But what they had to do actually in this room was before the poltergeist, presumably Kristen's ghost spirit,
came back to haunt them. They had to observe everything around the room, stains and all, and then the lights went out, came back on again. With the power of changed.
With the power of production, it looked like it happened in like a.
How do you think they filmed that? Do they do it around them, or do they bring them out of the room, do it, and then bring them back in the room, tell them to stand in the same place?
I believe the latter, because they gave the impression
they'd be able to hear like the lampshade shaking if they're
exactly.
in there.
But also they gave the impression that like the room was pitch black. But if you notice by the door, there was a half open blind, and there was this light coming in from outside. So there was no way they could have made it that dark in that room. So yeah, got them out. Swapped a few things around, got them to close their eyes back in again. And they had to spot things. Every time they spotted a changed item, they got $300. There was 3 teams. Each one had to find 5 different items. So there was a potential of 4.
Robbie found nothing.
1,000.
She was like, there's a beer bottle. And then she'd like turn around the room and then she's like, oh, it's a beer bottle. It's like, Robbie, that's the same beer bottle. Yeah. And then she was looking at cups of tea and she was like, I think these tea leaves have changed.
Yeah.
But no, they haven't.
But this is where she became, or could have become, a little bit unstuck because Brooke kind of saw this and went running and started using it as an excuse to get rid of her. It's funny, actually. I think this is the first time since the American series where
money's more important.
They've said that I think Brooke was quite open about it as well. He said, I don't actually think Robbie is a traitor, but she's not very good at the games and she's ruining it for everyone else. So yeah, let's just get rid of her.
I mean, the funds are limited to this series, so you know every $300 counts.
It's a tight budget. £16,600 they're now at the prize money. What's a kind word to call that stack of silver bars in the centre of the room?
It looks so sad, doesn't it?
A Polly Pocket equivalent of a pyramid.
They need to be bigger bars, I feel.
No,
it just looks sad.
Make the amount that each bar is worth, or you know.
But the bars aren't even like shiny and smooth. They're like really rusted and like dull.
That's also true. They look like foam that they've sprayed. Yeah. They look like that Oasis stuff you use for flower arranging. It looks like that, just sprayed silver.
I love that stuff with pushing it in with your finger.
It's incredibly addictive. It's like bubble wrap, isn't it? Like you know when you click the bubbles, it's like that when you push it in with your thumb. Ooh, so satisfying.
The game ended. We had this.
Sam, your team only correctly identified 2 items, but you spotted them both, and you are legally blind.
All right, Paul. God, rub it in.
Honest to God, laughed so loudly when he said that. And you are legally blind.
You're going to go up to someone and you are ugly. You found a wife and you're ugly. Is that all right, Paul? Thanks.
Robbie, you spotted none, and that's because you're an alcoholic.
Kristens, you're dead because you sleep in a bed of beans.
I mean, yes, that's all our own fault. Our own baked bean fault.
So mean, isn't he?
Sam, I mean, kudos to Sam. Like, everyone on his team didn't spot one thing, and he spotted two. He was the only one who spotted anything on his team.
Exactly.
And, need I remind you, he's legally blind.
Legally blind. It's just the way Paul says it. It's like...
It's just
lovely.
honestly, that's the line of the series. That's the line of the whole Traitors series. Every single version of the Traitors.
Your team only correctly identified 2 items, but you spotted
how
them
he says
both.
it now.
And you are legally blind.
Yeah, it's like it's a default. It's like it's a
you.
Yeah, and you. It's like it's a real problem to him. It's like to Paul.
We got it!
That's Sam's reply.
Oh, bless him.
So yeah, they won some money. There was the immunity
all right.
shield was back.
Yes,
this
the winning
series.
team got to go to his armory.
Again, the cheapest looking shield we've seen. It literally had the Traitors TV logo printed on it. There was no emblem or special symbol. It was literally stamped the Traitors NZ. It's like, oh, okay.
They have a flag. I thought that was
Stolen from the BBC.
Yeah, and they just painted NZ. They got Sam, who is legally blind, who typed it in the corner of the flag. Yeah, no, the 3D printed medal, badge, immunity emblem, whatever you want to call it.
It was up for grabs.
Guess who got it?
Oh, I know who got it.
Oh, but, okay, Robbie.
Kings. Oh.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yes,
Ruined
Robbie
it.
got it. Although it
but-
doesn't seem to have been much point because she's not on the murder list tonight. So
She wasn't, but I mean, they made her safe.
she had a good night's sleep at
Although you
least.
said she wasn't on the murder list, it's only because her name got brought back up again for the banishment. I don't think if her name had been brought back up again, it would be. I think she would have been on maybe considered.
I
on
did
the
wonder
list.
if Brooke would try and push for her to be killed because he wants to win more money. Maybe he just thought, let's just kill her tonight.
But it was
no,
a
she's
team.
not.
It was a team of 4, and what was it? It was Philly,
Brooke.
Robbie, Brooke, and Dan. So 2 of the traitors were on that
Yes.
team as well. And they all agreed not to tell anyone. That seems to be the thing that everyone does, quite rightly now.
I think, is that what they were talking about? When you know Philly like randomly said, you said there's pacts against people.
Yeah.
Is that what he was talking about
Yeah.
when she said a pact about not telling about the shield?
Yeah, he said
Why
that.
is that such a big deal, Philly? You bloody agreed to it.
I think Philly kind
Got
of
confused.
Yeah, I mean, also Philly said that Robbie had said that there's a traitor on the team, and again, it's like, well, why is that a problem? Why did that upset you so much?
Also, she didn't say that, did she? Well, she said she didn't.
She claims she didn't, and then
I believe
who
her.
said this? Vanda.
Vanda.
It's because I got Fanta in my head. Vanda. I'm beginning to really like a fungus. She's growing on me. I see. This is another reason why I'm a bit angry with Colin, like really picking on Vanda, because actually,
Darth Vander.
yeah, Darth Vanda. But then she's taking it in good faith. But
I like all the women. Hate all
she
the men.
voted for Philly at the
Apart from Fit
banishment.
Philly.
And yes, she voted for Philly at the banishment, and she said that you're too often saying he said, she said, without any witnesses being there. So she's kind of pulling him out a little bit now.
She's
and
throwing him
saying,
under the bus.
Hang on, Philly.
Down with the men.
It's your word against Robbie's, and actually, I think Robbie's telling the truth. So I wonder if that. But the problem is but again, we know it's a very male-dominated game, and I fear that Vanda's also in a similar situation as Robbie, in the sense that she's been pointed at as being a traitor a few times herself. Has she got enough influence in that group to kind of encourage other people to agree with Philly? Not Philly. Well, agree to think that Philly
Yeah,
is
I don't know if she's got much influence yet.
bad.
Brody's the one who's got the influence at the moment because she's playing a really good game all of a sudden.
She has got the influence, and
And she's saying it how it is, but she thinks she's gone. She said to everyone, I'm gone tonight. So
Well, so yeah, they did the round table. Matt got the most votes because, again, Brody basically pointed a finger at him and said, I still don't understand. Why are you always voting differently to everyone else at every round table? Matt kind of came up with the kind of like, well, I'm a jolly guy and I just came here for a bit of a laugh.
but
and
now I'm playing it seriously.
Yeah, but now I'm doing it seriously. Yeah, and he's
well, laughing.
Yeah, and he said that when he joined the show, there was a lot of work he had on beforehand, so he was very tired. But again, he's playing the game now. He wants to get involved. Didn't wash with a lot of them, so he got banished out because of Brooke by 6 votes. Robbie got 3, Julia got 4.
Philly got 1.
Philly got 1, as we said, from Phantom.
Matt Heath, then, he's gone. So his fact file.
Fact file time with Matt.
He was the breakfast host throughout Taskmaster New Zealand.
What does that mean? For what? Throughout one series of that? That's not something.
Wait.
Oh,
I've read the article wrong.
Okay, well, you can't blame the writing for the way you read
I
something.
can.
No, you can't.
If the radio breakfast host thought Taskmaster New Zealand was filled with... Oh, we've read this already, actually, haven't we? So
I think we talked about Matt once.
I don't care about Matt anymore then. He was on Taskmaster New
Bye,
Zealand.
Matt. See ya.
Out
you go. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yeah, sorry, his fact file's already been done because he's a traitor, isn't he? Of course. We've done the traitors.
Of course. Can I just say that I am super impressed with this group? They have, out of 3 banishments, got 2 traitors.
I know. They're playing, like we said last episode. This whole group, they're the most... They listen and they don't just... All the other Traitors series, people say a name and they all pile on and then just do it because they're following everyone else. They don't do that on this one.
No, they don't.
Which is why all the votes are always so... There's not like a 13 people voted one person.
They're always very open, and there's a very... I don't think we've had an episode yet where I've gone, oh, it's a whitewash, there are 20 votes for this person, and one odd one here. No, absolutely. I mean, there is still people in the game who has influence. Brooke definitely has influence. Brody has influence. And... Does Colin have influence? I mean, let's move then to the Traitors Tower. Well, we'll move to Traitors Tower, and again, they had the option, murder or seduce.
I was a traitor! See you in hell!
Thank you. Sorry, I completely forgot.
That's okay. That's just one of the best sound bites, I think. It's just
Is it the best sound bite? Because
I was a traitor! See you in hell!
It's like the beginning of a song, that is, I think.
Doesn't it? It sounds like it's the beginning of an 80s rock song.
Sorry, carry on. Traitors Towers.
I need to backward comb my hair for the next episode so I can scream with my tongue hanging out. Traitor Tower, murder or seduce.
Left.
Murder or seduce. They had a little chat.
I love the word seduce. Do they always call it that on the Traitors?
Tickle their chin with a feather.
This is what they don't normally say. Seduce, do they?
Get an ice cube and rub around the
nipple. They
nipple.
say recruit. That sounds really cold, but seduce.
What, the ice cube or the word?
No, the word that they use on this series, seduce. They don't normally use that, do they, when they try and... They normally recruit.
They've been saying seduce the whole series.
Yeah, but on other series of Traitors.
Would you prefer them to say seduce from now on?
Seduced, yeah.
Right, if anyone
better.
from any production company who's currently recording a series, they must be filming the UK one right now. I think
they are, yeah, and the American one.
Please, could you call it seduce and not recruit? Recruit's cold, like an ice cube round your nipple. Seduce is sexual, like a feather to the chin.
So, and what are they going to do?
They're going to murder
Brooke.
Well, Dan and Brooke had a chat,
buddies.
and they said, like, you know what, we're all right together.
They're just going to go to the end. They're going to be like, let's team up to go to the end together. That's what they're going to do.
Well,
just going to keep it just them two the whole time.
You reckon?
And not recruit, yeah.
Because they are best friends, aren't they? BFFs
when things
forever.
start getting a bit iffy, they'll recruit one person. They'll be like, we'll stick together and just get rid of that one.
See, this is it. This is gameplay now. What you've said is exactly what I was going to suggest. At some point, they're going to recruit, seduce people for the purposes to get rid of another person. Because then that's a double murder in a way. If they can seduce someone and get them eliminated at the next round table and then a murder, they could keep playing that way. That's a way round. And also it makes the traitors, the faithful, believe that they're playing a really hot game and they're not. They
think they're getting rid of traitors every time, but there's still the two
constantly getting wound round and round and round and round. I mean, again, it comes unstuck at the end though, because if it's only Brooke and Dan at the very end,
will one of them
backstab the other
poker player
one
most likely.
They're both poker players. That's how they're friends.
Are they?
Yes, that's how they know each other.
Poker player too.
Brooke and Dan are poker players. They play poker together. Poker face. Were you looking at your fact file? Just to check.
Look at Brooke to see.
Okay. Well, while you do that, I'm going to discuss the actual options that they came up with. So Brody was the obvious one. They said it's a prime target. She runs the roost. She basically has the game in her hands.
They better not get rid of her.
But they said that's the predictable one. If that's the one they choose, that's the
easy
predictable
route,
one. Colin, which they said would cause chaos, absolute chaos. They said that he picks up on ideas and then runs with them. So basically what he does, he takes other people's ideas, like Brody on this episode.
Gets a bit confused, says something silly, and then it causes a bit of a...
Well, he took Brody's idea on this episode, which was Matt, and ran with it, and that kind of encouraged maybe a couple of other people to go the same way. So that was another one, and then kind of this was the most random. This is the cat amongst the pigeons, or what did you say? Cat amongst the seeds. Kings. Because
just get rid of him, I would.
But they said
he's boring.
They said to get rid of him. They seem to miss the fact that him and Philly are very friendly, and I think having two people who kind of work together is a dangerous combination. Like them two, for instance, the two traitors. But also, they said that he'll never get banished. So really, it's just an opportunity just to get a kind of a
Why
quiet
would he not
one
get
gone.
banished?
Because I think
He's boring. We haven't seen much of him, but I'm not exactly...
Yeah, but I'm inclined to agree that I think he kind of goes with the crowd mainly. It's
He's
Philly
quite
who
chill,
kind of
isn't
bucks
he?
the trend a little bit. King's kind of is like the one who kind of tags along. But
He was having a lovely time, wasn't he, in his hotel bed, in his boxers, getting his diary out to write his little journal.
well, I saw him in his dressing gown, and I didn't think he had anything on underneath.
Yeah,
I'm
he
very
had
confused.
some boxer shorts on in his...
Did he?
Yeah, when he's getting out his little diary.
Were they
His little click pen to write stuff down.
Were they the same boxers as Brooks? Because Brooke likes to share clothing
I don't know, I've
with
not
his
seen
fellow
his.
faithful. In
We haven't done Brooke's fact file, and he's a traitor now.
Oh, go on, let's do it.
You might remember Brooke Howard Smith as the host of consumer TV show Target. Do you recognise him from that?
Is that like the New Zealand version of Watchdog?
I guess, I don't know. Or Gadget Show.
No,
But did
consumer.
Yeah, consumer TV show. But did you know this ideas guy was also once an X Games rollerblading bronze medalist?
I did not, and now I'm going to look it up.
He now runs a talent agency. I wonder what person's on his talent agency books.
Well, I would hazard to guess Dan. Yeah,
Power Rangers Dan, hello.
Is he?
He also loves a game of poker. There you go.
Told you.
He adores NFTs.
Oh, Brooke.
You're going to lose out some money
silly
there, Mr.
sausage.
Brooke.
Come on, Brooke.
Mr. Howard Smith, you're going to lose out on money doing that.
Well,
is in the
no. When you're in the business of NFTs, you convince other people to buy them. You don't buy them yourselves. That's why it's a big con. So do anyone who's bought NFTs.
And he's also in business with another New Zealand castmate. Wonder who that is.
Is it Dan?
They've not said, but I think we can say yes.
So do you think that
they're business partners? He has a talent agency. Dan's an actor. They're both on the show together. They've both talked about what they were going to do if they were traitors or not, and now they're both traitors on the series with no one else being a traitor.
Are you...
Money laundering.
Yeah. Well, NFTs, basically.
NFT money laundering going on right in front of our eyes.
Men. All Brooke and Dan, my opinion of you's fallen. Like the stock exchange. It's terrible. Oh, my goodness me.
So, yeah.
Dan and Brooke.
Business together.
Tut.
Play poker together. They probably play poker together at a table and give each other key clues across the table without everyone else knowing, so they can get more money for each other. All of this is alleged and not true.
Do you think Paul has involvement? That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their business is probably Paul's Gin Brewery together.
Yes. NFTs.
So
wow.
Who do you want murdered? Who do you not want murdered out of those three then? Kings, Brody, and who was the third one?
Oh,
Colin.
Brooke and Dan gone now. Oh gosh, I don't want Brody gone. I like her. She's fun.
Same. I want Kings gone.
And I like the way she kind of...
We've seen him in his
talks
underwear in his
nutty.
bed now, so he's given us everything he needs.
For me, King seems to me the most obvious. The fact that they kind of threw Kings in at the end, it was like, yeah, it's going to be Kings, isn't it? So that's how I felt. Because
Kings
Colin and Brody are like the most interesting, and I would put them on an even keel as well of interestingness.
No.
Really?
No, not this episode. I'm sticking up for the women. Although it's
100%.
a woman, so she may die.
Well, I was going to say it's likely to be a woman.
Find out next week.
If it is Brooke, then I am calling out misogyny on this.
Yeah,
100%.
NFTs, misogyny go together.
Gambling, drinking, baked beans on a bed.
Yep,
We're
it's all
calling
adding
it.
up.
It's all coming out.
Oh, so there you go then.
Gosh,
so
we've got a week to work.
we hope
now.
for King's murder then.
We do, not in real life.
Not for Brody.
In the facility of this game show.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, 100%.
Cool. Well, there you go then.
Well-
You've got a whole week now, everyone, if you're listening to this.
Yeah, come
as
on.
It's released. So you can get in contact with us. Let us know who your favourite people are, who you think is going to win, who you don't like, who you do like, whether Dan and Brooke are doing a money laundering scheme live on TV. We do not know.
Well, have they had this planned outside the show from the beginning and what they're doing now? I mean, this does smell a bit dodgy, doesn't it? If you think about it. Even the writers were kind of like dropping hints there. Although I suppose it makes it interesting for the end if they do make it to the end.
Yeah, hopefully they'll backstab each other and kill each other off.
No one's suspecting any of them, either Dan or Brooke,
Plenty
though.
of time left. We're not even halfway yet.
That's true. That's a fair point.
So how can people get in contact with us if they want to during our week away?
Well, you know what? There's a little platform called X,
No, it's not.
formerly known as Twitter,
Right.
and it glows a big black X above buildings and upsets people. But they've also there's a way of contacting us on that platform. It's at Traitors Podcast. So you can find us on Twitter /X at Traitors Podcast. On Instagram, that hasn't changed its name yet, at Faithful to the Traitors. Don't worry, guys. Threads is on its way.
You can message us, DM us, comment on our pictures, and we can read them out
Yes.
on the show.
Even if you've got something really inane, like, you know, Ben and I, we say inane things majorly quite often. And
Our number one fan got in touch.
Yeah?
Eva. Yep. She's watching New Zealand with us.
Oh, is she? Did
So
she
there
say
you go.
anything?
Hello.
Just, she was watching. Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
She's been on a camping trip. She was a bit behind, but now she's caught up.
Good. We know how you can catch up as well by listening to the podcast.
Exactly.
I was about to say, we're not spoilers, are we, really? Because you have to watch the episode in order to
Yes.
make sense of this nonsense. Email us, faithful to the traitors @gmail.com. So if you want to send us a longer message, a long form message with lots of questions or answers that you may have.
We have a lot of emails saying, how do you watch the show? So I want all those people to now email me an actual question or a comment for me to read out.
Yeah, because you must be watching, you nutters. And if you do want to help us, grow the show, if you want us to grow
You could buy an NFT
in front
if
of your
we get
eyes.
to it.
Yeah, we've got Ben and Alex NFTs, but that's coming. But a more sensible method might be to go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful. And you can throw a little bit of money our way just to kind of help us make the show and build it.
Starbucks.
But, some coffee to get us buzzing. But you can also help us grow by letting other people know that we exist. And the best way of doing that is by sharing this episode on your social media, but also by going to your podcast catcher that you listen to us on and rating us 5 stars and giving a reason why you like listening to us on your podcast catcher.
And we're
as well.
international as well. So if you're just watching New Zealand and now you want to watch the other series, we've got a series of that already done.
But
So
that's
you can
it.
binge the Traitors, binge us. You can move to America, binge that, and then binge us.
If you're going on holiday to the UK, no, you don't have to do that. Get a VPN.
Exactly.
Get BBC iPlayer.
Yeah.
Download it and watch the UK version of the Traitors.
So I expect to see our numbers to grow, which they are, which is always fun.
Yeah, but thank you to everyone. We should say to everyone who is already listening to us, hello, thank you so much for joining in. Like I say, just say hello. We'd really like it when you come and get in touch for this community.
Lovely. So there you go then. So we will wait a week now until we find out who's been murdered. And it's the end of Faithful to the Traitors New Zealand. What?
It's not the end, is it?
Well, the end of this episode.
Yeah, be clearer.